Let's play. Greetings everyone. Shall we play a game? Shall we try our psychic abilities together in a fun and ludic way? I will think strongly about and visualize an animal. Try to connect to me through my vibe or whatever. Everyone can join, but only has 2 guesses. I won't answer if it's wrong. I will answer if someone gets it. If someone gets it, it's his turn to create a post to do the same thing if he/she does wish. If not, I can just select someone willing to take the next turn. Please, do not try too hard, it's not a contest. The idea is so share and have fun. This is not about comparison or evaluation. Also, if you try very hard to see an animal, most likely you will just get mind chatter. The best way to receive is to genuinely not be emotionally invested in the outcome, or so I think. Let's play. From Raksha. And here are a few advices from our friend Az. If you want, before either sending or trying to receive, you can think or say out loud. Wise and benevolent beings, forces, and aspects of existence, please help me with this and please keep helping me with these things in the future, all in accordance with the highest divine blueprint. Thank you. Now. Furthermore, note that when you hear things, that can either be a sound that you made, or a sound that you're just picking up from someone else. Similarly, if a thought appears in your mind, that can be either a thought you thought, or it can be someone else's thought that you picked up. So receiving this animal might feel like you just randomly thought of an animal, but actually that's your mind picking it up. Finally, if this doesn't work for you, I don't recommend trying very hard or trying to find the ultimate receiving technique. I would just focus on general self-healing and general spiritual growth. When the time is right, if it's in alignment for you, it will just click, and you'll be able to do it without any special technique being required. Also, some people are just better at certain things than others. If you're not able to do this, it doesn't mean that you're spiritually unskilled. It might mean that you have other spiritual gifts, and that this particular thing happens to be more difficult for you. Ascended Master Sanhia, what do you mean by ownership? Participant, you have used the term ownership a few times. Can you explain what you mean by that? There is a quote attributed to Jesus in the New Testament in which he states that it is easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven. In another situation, Jesus is asked by a rich young man what he would have to do to become a follower. He was told to give all of his money to the poor. The young man chose to remain at home. Another significant Jesus quote relative to ownership is where he said that the kingdom of God is within you. Ownership, though, is not limited to money. This should not be interpreted to mean that you must give up all money and live in poverty in order to realize your divine awakened nature. Ownership is a state of mind. When you say that something is yours, you are expressing ownership. This would include your ideas, story, partner, children, friends, health, and career. We could go on and on. When a possessive pronoun is placed before a noun, ownership is implied. Ownership keeps you stuck in the illusion for a couple of reasons. First of all, none of the things you possess are real. There is no story or career. There is no past or future, no partner, and no money. I guess some of you would readily agree with the last two. Laughter, these things are all a part of the illusion of the movie. They have no true existence. Of even greater importance is that the being you call you also has no existence. That is what you consider your greatest possession. To be awakened is to have no sense of self. There is no identification with the body/mind construct, that is no sense of self, but simply the noticing of the body, as you might observe the sky, or a building, or anything in the manifested world. Participant, is ownership the same as control? Is letting go of ownership like letting go of control? Of course. There is nothing. There is nothing to control. If there is nothing there, how can anything be controlled? So, we could stop right here. This is really the message, but let's talk about it some more. I encourage you to be aware of where you hold ownership. We have used terms like the divine or holy relationship, the divine presence, or the divine now. None of these involve any ownership whatsoever. You cannot possess anybody, or anything. You can neither control them, nor change them. What is there is simply noticed, accepted, and loved. Without ownership there are no loves and hates. Participant, laughter, wow. This isn't to say that there might not be the noticing of preferring to, or not preferring to be with, say, a certain person. That won't change, there simply will be nobody there to have those likes and dislikes. There is no ownership of the reaction. This is an impossible concept for the ego mind to wrap itself around. But then, all of being awakened is like that. Without ownership there is no ego mind. It is the ego mind that believes it has things and needs them in order to get where it believes it needs to go, but there is nowhere you need to go. You are where you want to be, though there is no you there. When you hold on to things, your focus is on them, and therefore on you, the holder, the human entity, who feels separate from the divine. This does not mean that you do without all these things. There are still going to be homes, vehicles, money, jobs, friends, enemies, partners, children, and relatives, but they will not be owned. They will simply be in your movie. Participant, so, there are no likes or dislikes for the awakened me? We have talked about this with emotions. Rather than saying, for example, that you are depressed, you notice that depression seems to be present. The former expresses ownership of a feeling. There is no definition of self as depressed. Again, ownership is not restricted to objects or people. It includes thoughts, feelings, and health. Anything tacked onto the end of the thought or statement I am shows ownership. I am happy. I am poor. I am sick. Awareness simply notices the apparent presence of happiness, poverty, or sickness. The ego mind might argue that it can't see any difference, but you will find that noticing without ownership allows a totally different life experience. There is nobody there in the awakened state to own anything. Therefore, it is as impossible to lose anything as it is to hold on to it. Participant, doesn't saying I am still imply that you exist? That's a sharp question. Who is? Is there ownership of being? We would suggest that you first practice dropping the words that follow I am. When that becomes your default thought in all situations, we'll have further discussion about your question. There is beingness and it cannot be possessed. It simply is. It is what is aware of the created, the phenomenal world. Participant, is surrender to the divine what you are talking about here? I have been trying to surrender control of my health to spirit. Are you saying that this is a giving up of the ownership of my body? Yes. We can look at it in this way. You have been letting go of control of your personal will, and asking to be able to surrender to God's will. What is being suggested here is not just letting go of the personal will, but letting go of the person. There is nobody there to have a personal will. You can have that awareness. It's not simply noticing that you have a personal desire which is separate from God's will, but that you are believing in a person existing that could have such a will. There is no you who could want something, there is no you who could lack anything. There is no you. There is only divinity observing the situation. The ultimate step in giving up ownership, beyond letting go of people, things, thoughts, and feelings is this letting go of ownership of self. There is no person here. Participant, I think that is very hard to understand, that there is no person here. What is it then? A movie. A hologram. A creation of the divine mind. Participant, yeah. That is difficult to understand, to grasp in some way what this divine mind is. The divine mind has not only created this body you are pretending is a real person with a separate identity, but has created the whole movie, the whole thing, the whole universe, everyone who seems to be in it, and every aspect of it including the laws by which it seems to function. That's what divine mind has created. What you think of as you is not separate from any other part of the physical manifestation, whether animate or inanimate. The perfection of the divine who has created this, and is watching it, but it is not the person you which pictures self as the creation, and not the creator. This brings on the feelings of separation and all the pain and suffering that goes with it. When the ego self believes it can own anything, it is giving both self and the objects a reality they don't have. Participant, I can feel how a partner and projections upon him is so connected with ownership. It is another word for the same thing. Just saying my partner is expressing ownership. You've got it. The thought my partner implies ownership. Who is owning? The owner is the one you think of as yourself, who feels separate from the rest of the universe, and certainly from her partner. Ownership requires a separation of the owner and the thing owned. With oneness there is no separation. The saying, I am you, and you are me, expresses no separation. No separate self exists. There is just the one, created by your divine self, which is watching the movie it created. Participant, this is scary. What is scary about it? Participant, it is like letting go of the only branch connecting to this world of confusion and going into free fall. So, who is holding onto this branch? Participant, it's this little me, a creature who is so terrified of God. The observer is simply observing. It doesn't have the terror possessed by the little one being observed. The observer is not the person. It is simply watching. When you see only from this watcher, there is no terror. Participant, I can feel that this is what you mean when you suggest to fully let go and let God. Now, as we never grow tired of saying, but you can't get there from here. Much laughing. Participant, now it is a real riddle here. Continued laughing. The ones who think they exist and possess things and need to possess things in order to survive and protect themselves are not able to choose to let go of that because there is nobody there to choose to let go. The ego mind cannot choose. The best that you can do is to be aware that there are beliefs in ownership and not act from that, and to allow the emotions that are triggered to be there until they aren't. You may find yourself attached to less and less. Participant, nothing left to lose. Yes, without attachment or ownership, when something goes out of the picture there is no sense of loss. The picture is still there. It keeps on running. Participant, but it really helps when I feel like I have nothing left to lose. When you say, I have nothing left to lose, you still have I to lose. And it may come down to that for some. They'll lose everything until they finally lose themselves. Participant, it's a little bit tempting. You can also do it a piece at a time. You notice that there seems to be ownership present. Whatever it is. Whenever the possessive pronoun enters the mind, you notice that there seems to be ownership here. Participant, there is a fear here that if I go against the mass consciousness in this way I might be seen as crazy. For me, to be perceived as crazy is the worst thing that could happen. At the same time, you recognize that the mass consciousness is crazy. The mass consciousness believes the world is the cause, and you are at effect. The mass consciousness believes that it needs to choose and choose well. It believes that you are responsible. Participant, but what happens if I am ostracized? The awakened individual is by definition ostracized. It no longer belongs, even though it appears to be fully participating. It is not connected to a body, and to the world as others are. Participant, can you still use the language of the ego when talking with others, though you have fully let it go inside of you? Otherwise, you run naked in the world. When you are out and involved with the world, you can play any role. You have no identity as a person, but you certainly have a personality. There is nothing you need to do or be, you simply react in the moment. In fact, there is no you. There are no goals such as presenting an enlightened face to the world, whatever that might be, healing or awakening others. There is no purpose. There is just life. There is awareness. There is the movie, but there is no you in it. The form will still be out there carrying on, having all the experiences you have now, but with no sense of ownership of any part of it. There is no you to own it. Participant, Sanhia, it is amazing to see that when you are speaking with people you meet them exactly where they are. The language is exactly what that moment calls for, exactly what that person needs to hear. Is that what you are talking about here? is this being in the world but not of it. All that language does is to point. One looks at what is being pointed to, and may find it interesting, and wonder what to do with it. There is nothing magical about the words that come through Michael. They are just what is there, and are simply shared. Everything that happens can only be perfect. The language is not there to teach what the truth is. The awakened you does not need to walk around telling everybody what the reality is. Then they might lock you up. Laughter. Jesus warns not to cast your pearls before swine, and of course we are not calling the unawakened pigs, but there is no reason to cast them unless that is the guidance in the now. You might take it as a sign that another is ready to hear something if they come and ask for help. It's not just a question of intuiting what should be said, but it is responding to questions with what comes to the consciousness in the moment. I am not approaching random people on the street and saying, give your money to the poor and follow me, or divorce the bitch or bastard, quit your job and follow me. Much laughter. We are not saying that. All that I do when somebody comes up and asks for directions is to scratch my chin and say, points, I think you go this way. Maybe they are more lost after talking to me than before, but that's not my problem. Laughter. My job is simply to point. Participant. I like this pointer I have received from you now, but I am aware there is a fear to be noticing. But there is also a big yes. When there is ownership, there is something to take care of, something to protect and defend, and to be afraid of losing. Without ownership, as you pointed out before, there is nothing to lose. There is nothing you have to do, no responsibility. This is a great and tremendous freedom. It points to awakening. You cannot choose to awaken, but you can notice when ownership is present, recalling that possessions just lead to pain and suffering. So, you don't follow that train, don't act on those thoughts. If a thought comes to mind about your partner, you recognize that you think you own your partner. What a responsibility that is. Now you have to make that person be who you want them to be. If you notice that there is no control possible, then there is nothing for you to do. Perhaps ultimately it will be noticed that there is no you to even try to be the controller. If there is no you to be hurt or abandoned or upset, there is nothing but freedom. It doesn't matter what you or others do. Whatever is done is simply done. Participant. It's like if the relationship is with the divine, then it's just let go and let God. Yes. Unless your relationship with God or Spirit or the divine is, bring me my perfect relationship. Bring me money. Laughter. If you are trying to control God, then it is your God, it's your Jesus, and then what happens? You end up pissed. You asked for specific help and adequate delivery was not forthcoming. Laughter. This possession becomes total, your religion, your beliefs, your reality, as if it could possibly make a difference to the truth of the universe. What crazy beliefs your ego mind might have. Reality is what it is, not what you think it should be. You cannot see reality before you if you are blinded by your reality. Participant. I can feel this enormous relief, and at the same time I can notice how much fear I have. Yes. Good. Fear seems to present, but it is not owned. Take a step back and notice the fear. Notice who is noticing the fear. Good now. Sanhia/Spirit. Adama of Telos, Divine Force. Greetings, beloved ones. We are most joyous to connect with you here today, and we send you our utmost love from the heart of Telos. Beloved one, you have moved through the energy portal leading into the new year. Welcome to a new era of light. As many might have set new goals and focused on a new vision for this new year, there is a powerful way to expand on them. As you might have thought of all areas of life such as health, relationships, family, friends, abundance, success, and contribution to the greater good, there is one more thing that will enable you to engage a greater power. There is the divine force and support of God/Source that will enable you to have an experience that goes beyond your vision. This divine force is God's vision for you. In order to enter God's vision for you, your goal for this year could include a stronger connection and communication with God. The voice for God is the Holy Spirit and your connection to God. He is orchestrating God's vision for you, if you let Him. This divine vision knows the big picture. God's vision for you is so much grander and so much more loving than you could ever imagine. You are allowed to have your goals and desires. You could also choose God's vision for you, which could include some of your goals and desires. In other words, if you allow a little space for the vision of God to be a part of your life, your joy would be so much greater than your mind could ever conceive. All it takes is your openness and allowing for God's vision to become your vision. A simple mantra might assist you in this process. Father, your vision is mine. Or, Father, your plan is mine. Whenever you think about your goals, simply say one of these mantras. This will create the space for God's vision for you to enter your life. We champion your victory in the light. Welcome home. We send you all so much love. You are carried on the wings of angels to bring forth a new earth. Know in your CW heart that you are always surrounded by your angels, ascended masters, guides, galactic families of light, and yes, also by your family and friends in Telos, and always will be. Dear ones, we are walking with you on this journey, and you are loved beyond measure always. I am your brother Adama of Telos. Life Tapestry Creations, you're the starter Yeast. Dear ones, your new adventures are not what you expect or were familiar with in 3D. At least some of your world seems up instead of down, left instead of right, neither up or left, or any direction you are familiar with. You adjust to your new world as you encounter each new activity or result. Some of this newness can be addressed lightly, while other parts leave you in a quandary. How do I react? What is this? Why did I create this? Or, is someone doing it to me? Of course, you cannot remember, but you had similar thoughts when you first entered Earth in this lifetime. Everything you were familiar with was unavailable or inaccessible, and everything else was a mystery. You are adapting to your new world in ways you did not envision when you initiated your transition. You probably assumed your transition would be as easy as going to bed one night and waking up the next morning fully capable and comfortable in your new world. The truth of this phase is different as you process new thoughts and actions while continuing expectations of 3D actions that are no longer valid. Your question becomes, when will my life settle into the comfort zone I've been promised? Such comfort will happen within days because much of 3D is no longer enticing. And experiencing the new, in whatever form that takes for you, will seem more and more exhilarating. The next few days are an adjustment phase. Some of you will opt to disappear from society for a bit to ensure you do not miss one piece of this part of the transition. Others will continue your expected actions while adjusting to new you. It does not matter. All that matters is that you realize how different you have become in just a few days. A difference that will be noted by those close to you, for what was is no more. At the same time, your world has expanded far beyond your expectations. You will discover that your thoughts and actions are not as you now expect, or as others close to you ever expect. You are a new being. This short acclimation period will ensure that you will never again expect or want to be of 3D. You will also discover that those around you evolve as you do, not because they have to, but because your essence has become so strong that others will be drawn into the force that has become you. Not for them to be like you, but to realize the joy of becoming themselves in less time than was probably necessary for you. In essence, you are the starter yeast of this new world. So be it. Amen. One who serves and Shoshanna, what are you celebrating? Master OWS. Om Mani Padmehum, Om Mani Padmehum, Om. Greetings to you. One who serves here and Shoshanna is here, and we are ready to assist you in your questions, if you have them. And before we do, though, we just wish to say that we are looking forward to your New Year's Eve show or call, or even a celebration, and indeed it shall be a celebration. What are you celebrating? You are celebrating not only the end of the year that has just passed and the beginning of the next, but you are celebrating the advent of a whole new life For yourselves moving forward, yourselves as individuals and yourselves as a collective consciousness, always moving forward and learning from the past, but forgetting that past more and more, because the past is no longer important to any of you. For that is the old story, the stories that have been told over and over and over and over. You need to forget those stories and move on into the perfect now, and begin to think of it as the perfect now moment. We are ready for your questions, if you have them. Member? I have a question. Master OWS. Yes. Member? The different information sources that I have heard, and I think it has also been on this call, that there is supposed to be a gigantic surprise for everyone on this planet about something in the skies. And I just bought a book, an audio book called Project Bluebeam Exposed. And I'm pretty sure you probably won't be able to say yes or no, but I want to ask the question anyway. Is that going to be the gigantic surprise that will surprise everyone on the planet? Master OWS. We will tell you this, dear one. The Project Bluebeam has been in the works for quite some time. Those of the dark forces have been working this plan out to bring about changes that they want to happen in order to keep you from the changes that you want to happen. In other words, to keep you in the status quo, to keep you in a controlled state. So this Project Bluebeam has been known about now for quite some time by both sides, both the sides of the dark and both the sides of the light as well. And the sides of the light forces are not going to allow for this plan to take effect here. They may attempt to do so, but it will not be successful, because those of the galactic family, they are also aware of this, as they are part of this White Hat Alliance, you see. And they will do everything they can to interfere with those plans if they attempt to bring this forward. Think about this. The forces of darkness show their holograms in the sky. And people everywhere are amazed by this, and some are fearful of this, and so on and so on. But the forces of light and those of the galactics will not allow the fear to spread here. For what if they then truly show themselves, you see? So the very act of bringing about this Project Bluebeam could be the very thing that brings about full disclosure, which those of the forces of darkness do not want, you see. So they will likely not move forward with this plan, except maybe in small circumstances here. That is how we can answer this. Perhaps Shoshanna has more that can give here? Master Shoshanna. Well, we can't share here. May we share your brother? Member? Sure. Tell me what you know. Master Shoshanna. What I know, dear brother, is that Project Bluebeam has been dismantled. It is no longer Namast. Master OWS. Very good. That is quite a revelation there, no? Member? I wasted my money on the book, huh? Master Shoshanna. We will add here, dear brother, that there are individuals that are not up to speed. They are writing about things that are no longer, because they do not have the information that you have, and that we have. They do not know. They are giving information based on their discoveries of things that have long passed. This is the plight of written material, you see. This is often the case. So we do not think you wasted your money on the book. We think that you perhaps were attracted to it, and wanted clarification, and that is how that works. However, we stand by our understanding and our knowledge that this Project Bluebeam is dismantled. It is no longer Namast. Master OWS. Very good. Are there further questions here? Member? Greetings, I wish inquire about how or what the plan is to deal with personalities that are demon-like on this planet, personnel, you know. Person people that have narcissistic or psychopath personalities, because, you know, as I contemplate my years on this planet, I realize that most everyone are good people, but there are certain types of souls that are clearly more of a demonic nature. And we are kind of mixed up with them. It is almost like here on the planet you have angels, humans, and demons all playing together. And, you know, I feel that fixing the planet is simple if it was just angels and humans. But, you know, What do we do about the demons? How can we transition into a fifth-dimensional vibration? When, these type of personalities that are very unlikely to change are with us. How? What is the plan for that? Thank you, Master OWS. We will tell you that this is certainly the separation of the wheat from the chaff that has been spoken of. It is the vibrational frequency that continues to increase, but more than the vibrational frequency, but consciousness that continues to increase. And as this consciousness continues to increase and that vibrational frequency as well, then those that are not of that frequency will not be able to withstand the changes as they come. And they will depart from this planet. However, they do so will be up to their plan that they came in with, and to those of the forces of light that assist in this process to remove those ones that cannot be here in this vibration and continue to attempt to hold the vibration down, which they will not be allowed to do so. Okay? Shoshanna, do you have something Master Shoshanna? We have a question for this one. May we ask out questions, dear brother? Member? Yes, Master Shoshanna. Dear brother, what is your personal experience with this? This is an interesting question, so you must have a personal experience that would cause you to ask this. Member? Yes, it has been my observation with relatives and acquaintances that there are some type of personalities, and they are just evil, or that they don't quite learn or assimilate goodness like others. And it just seems like we are mixed with here with not just humanoids and angels, that there are some entities, and some people that are they are simply of a different consciousness, and they are not going to change or swap in one lifetime. So, I think it's interesting, and there must be a purpose for why we are mixed with them. But I was just wondering, what is going to happen? Master Shoshanna. We will answer you if we may. Here is the truth about this particular situation. You can acknowledge and give power to those that are negative, you call demons. You can acknowledge them and give them power, which will allow them into your life, into your circle. If you give them no power and no acknowledgement, they cannot encroach upon you. That is your power, you see. So, for example, we will give an example of the one known as Fossey. The one known as Fossey has been given much power through the acknowledgement of others. The others that acknowledge him and raise him up is the reason he has the power. He would have no power if there was no acknowledgement, you see. So, in your everyday life, in your movement of your life, you have the choice to give power to those that are negative, power to those that would harm you. So, you must be very conscious, and you must be very discreet about this, and be conscious of those that might step into your circle, and that you would deny them space. You see, you would deny them access to you. Now, that is the lesson. That is why they are here, so that you can't acknowledge your own power. What we find here, all of you that are made in this likeness of your source, likeness of your God, that you do not know that you have this power. And there must be experiences in your life that will remind you of this power. That is one of those, you see. There are many. But one big one is the demons, the evil, the sociopath, those that are within your planet, that will attempt to encroach upon you. This is your chance to acknowledge your own power and push them away. Does this make sense to your brothers? Member? Wonderful. Thank you so much, Master Shoshanna. Yes, Namasaint. Master OWS. And we give an analogy here, and go to your myth of the vampires, and how when one is attempting to enter, you have a closed window. If you open the window in this myth of yours, the vampire can enter. You can't say demons, or whatever here as well. But if you keep the window closed, they have no access to you. So keep the windows closed for all of you. Master Shoshanna. May we add another thing? Member? Yes, Master Shoshanna. We will add that it is the same with the angel. It is the same with the human. You must give them permission, you see. An angel cannot protect you, unless you give them permission to protect you. That you have that consciousness, you see. Many do not. Many do not even know that they exist, and do not give them permission. Once you give a light being permission to come into your circle and protect you, they are always there, you see. So this is the same, the human permission to enter your sphere, then they are there until you do not give them permission. That is how it works, Namaste. Master OWS. Very good. Are there other questions here? Are there questions? Member? I have a question. Master OWS. Yes. Member? One of the things you talked about earlier about the subject Bluebeam. I was wondering. I heard some channel that there is going to be the emergency broadcast system where they have control of our phones and they are going to do a mass disclosure. Just a mass thing, because I guess there is a lot of activity of people trying to thwart President Trump from getting inaugurated. But they are going to do a mass emergency broadcast system where they just disclose like crazy. Have you heard anything about that? Is that something in the future? Master OWS. We will tell you, although we cannot give exact dates or time, or anything of the day. We will tell you, it is part of the plan. And whether it manifests or not is still up in the air, we will say here. There is certainly a very strong potential and possibility that it shall occur in the times ahead here. Again, we cannot give date or time, or even that it will happen, but it is very likely at this point that it could manifest here. And of course, it is the forces of light that are the ones that are behind this. So it will bring great disclosure, and we will bring great truth coming forward. If it is indeed manifested. Shoshanna, do you have anything to add? Master Shoshanna. Well, we have a perspective that we might share, if you wish for us to share, dear sister. Member? Yes, please. Master Shoshanna. Dear sister, there is a movement called the Great Awakening that you are witnessing. The Great Awakening is for those who have eyes to see and ears to hear, and a heart to understand the movement, you see. So, this is what is occurring, the Great Awakening. We promise you that there are more awake now on the planet than asleep. There has been an overtaking, a percentage increase greatly of those that are awake, you see. What the white hats or those that watch over us have been given, the instruction that they have been given is to observe the organic process of the Great Awakening. And that as it proceeds, there is less and less and less need for a shock wave to occur because this is occurring organically. Now, we do not know if this will occur, but what we do know is that there are more and more people that are waking up to the truth, and that will support the movement, will support the change. The things that you see on your news, on your mainstream news, are planted. It's a narrative that they are pushing out, in hopes that you will change your mind and go back to sleep. But that is not going to happen. You cannot watch a news channel and go back to sleep. Once you are awake, you see. There is no going back. So once again, we will tell you that this great organic change that is occurring, this great awakening is happening quickly, and will be sponsored by many, more than half, more than 70% of your world population, so do not be concerned. If they see a need to wake up the other 30%, then perhaps they will do it quickly, but we do not see that. We see this continuing as a free will experiment, Namaste. Master OWS. Very good. And we are needing to release channel. We take one more question. If there is one, otherwise, we are ready to do it. Nothing further. Then Shoshanna, do you have parking message? Master Shoshanna. We will say to be a good cheer that all is happening and unfolding as planned, and that you must ride the wave. Go as a flow, continue to open your eyes, continue to open your ears, and open your heart. As what will occur rapidly now in the ensuing years will be the golden age, will become the golden age, and you are a part of this. How exciting is that? Namaste. Master OWS. Very good. And we say here, you have the same changes in the air, and we will say to embody those changes as they come forward. Shanti, peace be with you. Be the one. Source arrayofflight.com. The other videos are in the English video playlist. Help me spread the light, click like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.